The following program is seen statewide on California Public Television. It was an adventure that started out in the rain, heading down a very muddy road. And to be honest with you, I wasn't very excited about spending a whole day getting wet and muddy. But you know, things have a way of working out for the best here in California. And even though I didn't realize it at the time, this day would end up being one of the most beautiful days I've ever experienced in one of our golden parks. Springtime in Northern California. Here it is, a little overcast this morning. It's spitting rain, but we have got a beautiful view out here looking at the mountains off in the distance. Our guide for this adventure is Ranger Andrew Early. And Andrew, tell everybody what we're looking at right now, because I always get my directions a little mixed up when I get up here.
We're in the Cascade Range. The mountains that would be visible if it was a little clearer are Mount Shasta to the north and Mount Lassen to the south.
So Mount Shasta is over there in the clouds somewhere.
It's hidden today.
All right, but it's a beautiful day. This really gives you we've got two hawks in the trees over there. This is a beautiful part of our state. But I gotta tell you, the place that we're starting the adventure this morning has raised some questions in my mind, because you told us to meet you at a place called Rat Farm, and I think that needs a little bit of an explanation.
Yes, we affectionately call this the Rat Farm, which is the takeoff point to access Ahjumawi. And it's called a rat farm because it was formerly a commercial muskrat farm.
Ah, muskrat.
Yes, so that makes it sound a little better than just rat.
Now, they were raising muskrats here when?
I'm not sure the years, but it's been a lot of years since it stopped. When they ended this rat farm production, apparently the owners just turned the muskrats loose. And they have been a problem in this Fall River Valley ever since.
Why are they a problem?
Well, they undermine foundations, they help to erode levees, they cause a lot of destruction to the human-made things.
So we've got some pesky muskrats out there.
Yes, and we might see some today out on the water.
Good, okay, because our adventure is going to take us to what I think must be one of the most remote state parks in California. It's so remote that you literally can't get there by road, can you?
That's true. The only access to Ahjumawi is across this body of water, which is called Big Lake, and it's by canoe or boat. At this time, any type of boat is allowed on the lake.
Well, this is very exciting. We have two boats for our trip. Here in the front, you and I are going to be in this canoe, and Robert, give us a wave, Robert. Robert is going to be driving the motorized boat for Cameron, our cameraman, to be in to record all of this. And we're literally just going to take off out into the wilderness here to get to Ahjumawi Lava Springs State Park. What does Ahjumawi mean?
Ahjumawi means where the waters come together.
So that's an old Indian word.
It is.
From which tribe?
It's the Ahjumawi band of the Pit River tribe.
Wow, so this goes way back in history, what we're going to be doing today.
Exactly.
All right, this is exciting. We're taking off out into this state park that literally the only way you can get there is the way we're going to get there today.
I love you, California. You're the greatest state of all. I love you in the winter, summer, spring, and in the fall. I love your fertile valleys, your dear mountains I adore. I love your grand old oceans, and I love the rugged shore.
Boy, this is so beautiful out here. Where is the park itself?
Our canoe is heading straight towards the park.
So this is the park over here. And what does the park consist of? I'm having a hard time figuring out what we're going to see today.
Well, the park is 6,000 acres in size, and about 2/3 of it is covered with just bare recent lava flows. The third that you're seeing in front of you by the shoreline is the forested and heavily vegetated part.
So the lava flows have been shot out from all these big mountains that are surrounding us here over the years.
Yes, the Cascade Range.
You know, this is probably the most isolated feeling I have ever had in a state park. How many, and I haven't seen another soul today, how many people visit this park every year?
Our visitation's about 4,000 people a year.
Wait a minute, 4,000 a year?
Well, it's not for everybody. You know, not everybody wants to paddle in a mile or two just to get to a place.
And what do they do when they get here?
Hiking and bird watching are probably two of the most popular activities. And there are campsites, 9 environmental sites available for overnight camping.
On a clear day, it must be amazing out here. You can see, well, you can see Mount Lassen, you can see Mount Shasta, you can see the whole mountain range out here.
You sure can. It may even open up for us later today. Huell, as we're paddling along, keep your eye on the shoreline because we might see a bear.
A bear?
A bear. Usually it starts out as just like a big brown blob or a black blob, and then it kind of takes form and runs off into the woods.
So there's bear up there.
It's truly a wild place.
What else is up there?
Well, there's bear and there's mountain lion. Those are probably the biggest animals that you'll find. A lot of deer. Many of the smaller or medium-sized mammals, foxes, coyotes, bobcats, skunks, river otter, muskrat.
Wait a minute, wait a minute. What are these birds up here?
White pelicans.
Oh, wow. They're circling over the forest there.
Well, we might have startled them.
Look at that. Oh, they're beautiful. Now you got me looking for bear.
Yeah, the bears that I have seen here are truly wild. I startled a young bear once when I came around a corner, and the look in his eyes was like he'd never seen a human before. And he turned and ran, and it was like a cannonball that was shot through the forest. He just went in a straight line through trees and brush and vegetation as far as he could away from me.
So he was running away from you, not toward you?
No, I think I scared him as much as he scared me.
If there are only 4,000 or 5,000 people a year here, there are probably never more than 3 or 4 boats out here at one time, right?
Well, in the summertime, we do get a little more visitation than that. But this is really a perfect time to be here.
Why?
Well, one downside about the summer is that the mosquitoes are abundant.
Ah.
Voracious and abundant.
Is this a new state park?
It's a relatively new state park. It became a state park in 1983.
And what was it before?
Well, the most recent owners used it for hunting. They rented it out to hunting clubs.
And what were they hunting here? Bear?
You know, I'm not quite sure. The most common thing is waterfowl.
Boy, this is so beautiful. The forest, the trees just come right down to the water, don't they?
Yes. Junipers are most of the trees that you'll find out here.
I'm looking for muskrat holes.
I believe those are all muskrat holes.
So the muskrats live right up here on the shore.
Yes, burrowing into the bank.
And how do we get out of the boat? There's no place to dock.
You're right, it's not easy.
So you don't have any docks per se for people to...
No.
What about right here?
That's okay. See straight ahead, there's a little bit of dirt and grass shown there?
Yeah.
Let's go to that open spot.
Okay. Boy, this is easy canoeing too. It's real still, calm water.
Ideal conditions.
We're coming in, and boy, this is nature's boat dock right here.
Nature's boat dock.
There's nothing fancy about this.
Do the best you can. Be careful.
Okay. Well, look, I can just get right out.
Yep. And it's going to be kind of slippery. Be careful where you land there.
Ah. Okay, so...
You can pull me just a little bit forward there. I'll get out at the same place you did.
We're here. We're on land. Before we start our land adventure, Andrew has some safety tips for us, starting with these plants right here, which look perfectly harmless to me from a distance.
when you visit Ahjumawi, there are several things that you have to be very careful of. First, when you get out of the boat, the plant that you will find abundantly along the shoreline is stinging nettle. It causes a rash and irritation of your skin if you get into it.
Boy, that'll cut down on park visitation right away, won't it?
Yeah, there's a few other things that I should warn visitors about. Would you like to hear about those?
Yes, I think so.
There's really 6 things, so 5 others. We have 1 plant, 2 insects, 2 animals, and 1 reptile.
Uh-huh.
So the 2 insects, I've already warned you about mosquitoes.
Uh-huh.
Mosquitoes are abundant. They're a prominent feature of this park in, well, most any time of the year in the summer. Now, the other insect is ticks. And ticks can be a threat anywhere that you're in nature, but you have to be careful and don't go off the trails, and you don't usually have a problem getting ticks on. Just check yourself once in a while.
Okay, mosquitoes, ticks, this plant right here.
Stinging nettle.
Stinging nettle.
And then bears and mountain lions.
Absolutely.
Those are the mammals. And bears, like I say, they're truly wild, so they'll run away from you. Mountain lions are not a threat either, except if you bring small children. You don't want to leave your children unattended, and you want to go do the buddy system, have somebody with you. And then the last thing is rattlesnakes. In the summertime, it's hot. We average 90 degrees each day during the summer. And the rattlesnakes here are as black as the lava rock. So they're hard to see, and just rattlesnakes in general are kind of aggressive.
All right, we got our 6 we've got our 6 danger things to look out for, and now we're kind of in this little campground area, which is the way most people visit the park, right?
Correct.
Tell us what happens here.
Well, this state park has 9 campsites. They're grouped into 3 clusters of 3, and each of these is what's called an environmental site. So at the environmental site center, we have a restroom and trash cans, and then there are 3 sites that are spread out a little bit, and each one can accommodate up to 8 people.
So people come out here and camp, or people come out here and just picnic, or what?
They boat in. They bring their stuff in, and either with canoe, kayaks, or whatever they have, and they boat into their campsite.
Boy, look at this now. The clouds are breaking a little bit, and we're looking off in the distance at the blue sky and the reflection in the water, and it goes all the way around here. This is, boy, this really is spectacular. This, now that it's opening up a little bit, this really gives you an idea of how beautiful this park is.
It's a spectacular park.
Yeah.
And right now there's no reservations that are available to be made, so it's first come, first served here.
Yeah, and I'm looking over your head. There are 2 really big mosquitoes. Boy, they are huge. I thought that was a hummingbird up there. That's a mosquito?
No, mosquitoes are big, very big and abundant.
All right, now we're going to hike up here because we want to see the lava rock. That's what 2/3 of this park is.
Definitely.
How far is the hike?
It's about a half a mile from here to where we start into the lava flow.
All right, so we're hiking through the mountain lion country, the bear country, the mosquito country, the rattlesnake country.
And the ticks.
And the ticks. But what the heck? Before we got too far into the forest, we just wanted to stop here for just a second because it's amazing how quiet it is out here. No human sounds, but lots of birds. And if you get real quiet, you can just stand here and listen to the sounds, the natural sounds in this park. Are those geese?
Yes, Canadian geese.
Canadian geese.
Beautiful thing about this park is that we have no poison oak that we found anywhere in this park.
No poison oak.
That's right.
So that's one good thing to off-balance the 6 things you told us to be looking out for.
Things you have to watch out for.
And we had talked about the smells of this park, and this bush, and it's called a what?
A deer bush.
Deer bush. Oh,
Deer
boy.
brush.
Deer brush.
Yeah, deer brush.
I don't even know how to describe this, but it's...
Very unusual smell.
Oh, boy, it's beautiful. Look at this. Well, look at this whole forest. But I would imagine when some people come here to the forest, they're a little intimidated by it, aren't they?
Oh, they are. Lack of amenities and the wild nature of this place does intimidate some people.
More beautiful spring wildflowers, but what's so interesting about this display is that when you look out here, you begin to get a hint of where we're heading to.
You can see the changing landscape here from where we walked up from the shoreline. We're getting into an area that's getting less and less soil on it. It's more of the more recent volcanic rock flows. Oh, there's a good example of black basalt.
So this is what we're heading toward, a whole lava flow.
Just an open field of nothing but black rock.
And boy, this stuff is old and it's heavy.
It is.
Very heavy. But boy, let's get out of the way and take a look at this, because what a beautiful display of lava rock surrounded by the wildflowers of spring. And then you pull out and you see the forest in the background. Actually, we're in a transition zone right here, aren't we?
That's right. And you can see where the forest we just walked through was much more heavily wooded. And then as we walk this direction, you'll see there's less trees, getting more into the shrubs. And then as we go on, we're going to go into an area where the shrubs start dying back, and it's just bare rock.
Oh!
Watch your step.
We have found the lava flow. Big time, Andrew.
That's true. 2/3 of the park is covered with lava, similar to this, with a little bit of vegetation growing in it.
Now, what happened? Did this come up? Was this shot up out of a volcano?
Well, geologists say that in this area, most of the lava came from fissures, openings, cracks in the earth where it kind of oozed out more than came out of volcanoes.
Boy, this rock is very hard.
And it's very sharp.
And very sharp, and this is where the snakes like to live in the summertime.
Oh, this is the best place for a snake.
Boy, this, I don't think I've ever seen a flow. Is this called a flow?
Yes.
And what makes it a flow? Just because it flows out across
Just came out and dried kind of like in sheets over the land.
Boy, this is something. This is an amazing rock to look at up close. Because really they're like cinders in somebody's fireplace, like
exactly, yeah.
Cinders.
This one does have a little moss growing on it.
Wow, it's just, these are just, can you use these for anything? Can you build with them?
You can't gather from a state park.
No, I know
Everything's
that.
protected in the state park, but this is the rock that's used a lot of times in landscaping and for walls.
Well, we'll leave it here and just take a look out here at this whole field of it. And this is just really a small percentage of the amount of lava rock that's here, right?
Correct.
But it's half of the name of the park.
Ahjumawi Lava Springs State Park.
Okay, so we've seen the lava, and now we're going to see the spring.
Let's go on to the springs.
Well, we've come back to the water. In fact, oh, look at that fish jump. Oh my gosh! One of the big trout jumped right on cue for us. We've come down the lake about a mile, and now it's the sun has come out. We've shed some of our layers of clothing, and Andrew, you have brought us to this tree over here, this beautiful flowering apple tree. Is this an apple tree?
This is an apple tree. As in many of our state parks, the pioneers and settlers that have been here prior to becoming state parks, some signs of their habitation are still here today.
So this was planted by whoever lived in this little cabin right here. Does this have a name to it? What does the park call this?
It was referred to as the Trapper's Cabin. And the best we can tell on this is the last owners who gave the land to the state were Harry and Ivy Horr, H-O-R-R. And they leased this land out and let people use this for trappers, hunters, people visiting here.
Boy, what a wonderful look at what they were looking at out their front yard. This is like some kind of a scenic postcard right here. This is as beautiful a sight as I think I've seen anywhere in California. But if we move just a little bit further down, isn't it, through the up and around here, we're going to see something else that's kind of interesting.
Just around the corner.
Well, Andrew, you saved the best for the last, because I didn't think it could get any prettier than what we have seen already, but you have now brought us to explain to us the springs part of the title of this state park. Explain to us where we are right now, because this is fascinating right here.
Ahjumawi Lava Springs State Park. In the name itself is the word lava springs. There are thousands of natural springs throughout this park that lead into the waterways. Again, Ahjumawi means where the waters come together. But as you can see, look down through the ancient fish traps here, and you can see the water is moving out. So the water is actually bubbling up from under the ground right here.
Now, what do you mean ancient fish traps? Because that's a part of the layer of the history. These are all placed here by, I mean, they're not here naturally, are they?
That's correct. Ahjumawi is the name for the Native American group that was here. And so to honor them and their presence, we gave the state park that name. What they used to do is they would herd fish. They would get a group of people out in the water when the fish came spawning, which was in the winter, and they would come in here and they would get people to herd them in through the different waterways and go from a larger area and then put the rocks up behind them, bring them into a smaller area, put the rocks up behind them, and bring them in until they were in the shallow pools, just kind of boiling with the fish.
So this is a series of dams right here. Oh, look, this really gives you a shot of it right here. Exactly. It's a series of dams looking all the way out to the lake.
Exactly. They would start out there, and it's only about waist deep, the water out there. They'd herd the fish in till they could get them into an area where they could collect them.
And they would bring them, say, all the way into, right into here.
Exactly.
Now, are these still functioning fish traps?
Yes, the Ahjumawi people who still live in this area and live adjacent to what is now the state park called Ahjumawi still use these traps in the wintertime to collect fish.
Wow. And this has got to go back hundreds of years, if not thousands of years, being done just like this.
Exactly.
This is, you know, this is such an interesting combination of native history, of human history, combined with the natural beauty of this park. This kind of sums it up right here, doesn't it?
This is truly a gem of a state park and a spectacular wild place.
Okay, we're ending up here at a place called
Joshi.
Joshi Springs.
Yes.
Because this, again, is another one of these. Oh, look at this. Oh, gosh. Oh, my. Oh. Look at the fish in the water. They've got to be 1, 2, 3, 4. They've got to be 20. Are those trout?
No, I don't think those are trout. I think those are the sucker fish.
Oh, I got excited about sucker fish.
Well, they're still beautiful. Look at the size of them.
But you can't eat them, can you?
They're not considered a good eating species.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm excited about almost anything today because I had heard that this was a great place to come fishing.
But look at the
for
clarity
trout.
of the water here.
Yeah.
I mean, where on earth can you find water like that?
And what does it do? This is the spring here.
This is one of the series of freshwater springs that leads into the Tule River and then the Fall River.
Look at this.
And you can see the volume of water coming out of this spring-fed lake.
And it goes all the way out here. What was the name of the lake, the big lake
It's
here?
called Big Lake.
Oh my gosh, there went another fish jumping over there. Now that was a trout.
That was probably a trout.
But look at the clarity of this water. It is so clean and so pure.
You know, I should tell you where this water goes. All of this water that comes through the springs here leads into this is where the waters come together. Remember, Ahjumawi. And it leads into the Fall River, which leads into the Pitt River, which leads into the Sacramento River, which goes down the state and out in the bay, under the delta there, under the Bay Bridge.
Wow. So it's all connected.
It's all connected. And the water is the common thread that connects it all.
Well, the common thread that also connects it all is its beauty, its remoteness, the fact that you have to want to get here, and the fact that when you do get here, you can have an experience like we've had here today. We have had a wonderful day here. Thank you so much. It started off with the clouds and with the rain, and it ended up with the blue skies and the big clouds and this beautiful scenery here. I mean, everywhere we've gone today has just gotten better and better and better. It's just been a wonderful day. I hope you've had as much fun as we have right here in this wonderful park, Ahjumawi Park, which is one of California's golden parks.
I love you, California. You're the greatest state of all. I love you in the winter, summer, spring, and in the fall. I love your fertile valleys, your dear mountains I adore. I love your grand old ocean, and I love a rugged shore.
Well, hello everybody. I'm Huell Hauser, and I sure hope you enjoyed our adventure in the spectacular and remote Ahjumawi Lava Springs State Park up in Shasta County. Now, if you'd like to go on this adventure again or share it with your family or friends, it's available on DVD. All you have to do is call 1-800-266-5727, and we'll be glad to send it to you right away.